McCartney and John Lennon weren't just legendary songwriting partners, they were once the closest of friends. But as the Beatles neared the end of their remarkable journey, cracks began to form in their relationship. The tension came to a head around the band's breakup in 1970, though Lennon had actually stepped away a year earlier. The public, however, didn't hear the news until McCartney formally announced his own departure in 1970. He explained that the split stemmed from a mix of creative, professional, and personal differences, though above all, he said he simply felt happier focusing on his family. At the time, McCartney wasn't even sure if the separation would be permanent. Behind the scenes, Lennon had grown increasingly distant from the rest of the group. Collaboration became strained, especially as his relationship with Yoko Ono deepened. Ono's frequent presence at band rehearsals and meetings caused friction among the other members. Reports from Rolling Stone reveal that McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr all tried to convince Lennon to limit her involvement in band matters. But Lennon refused. He felt Ono deserved to be accepted, saying they were now a single unit. When Starr pushed back, Lennon stood firm, declaring that she wasn't just a part of his life, she was his life. The emotional aftermath of the Beatles' split lingered for years. In his 1997 biography Many Years From Now, McCartney opened up about how difficult things became between him and Lennon. He described trying to reconnect during visits to New York, only to be met with coldness or aggression. Phone calls often ended with McCartney feeling rattled and emotionally drained. He admitted to questioning himself afterward, wondering if he was somehow at fault for the hostility. It was, he reflected, a time filled with bitterness and confusion. Lennon, meanwhile, didn't hold back his frustration either. In the early 70s, he aired his grievances in interviews and in music, most notably in the biting track How Do You Sleep, which many saw as a direct attack on McCartney. But McCartney acknowledged his own missteps, recalling one heated phone call where Lennon's exaggerated American accent irritated him so much that he lost his temper and abruptly hung up. According to McCartney, these kinds of tense exchanges had become the norm. In his 2021 memoir, McCartney offered more insight into their evolving relationship. At first, there was no contact at all. But practical matters eventually forced them back into conversation, often tense, especially when business was involved. Over time, though, those conversations softened. When visiting New York, McCartney would occasionally call Lennon just to suggest catching up over tea. Their lives began to mirror each other in unexpected ways. Both had become fathers around the same time, and that shared experience gave them new common ground. As they exchanged stories about parenting, the old friendship slowly started to mend.